Hey, what's up, y'all? It's the Mad Hatter logging back in, reporting live from the sticks because the city's just got me all fucked up. I kind of didn't want to do this video, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Fuck it. Um, this video is on Darren Seals. He was 29. He was a leader of not necessarily the Black Lives Matter movement. Most people, I think, looking at the movement, don't understand the differences between the different movements and how, for the most part, Black Lives Matter has been co opted by the Democratic establishment, nonprofit organizations, liberal groups. Um, but he was really, really in tune before the whole, BLM, DeRay, and, Nete, but before they all got involved, he was really doing a lot of work at the local level in St. Louis. Um, so Mr. Seals was 29. We just found out that he died with a gunshot wound to his head. And the vehicle they found was charred and burned. So people didn't even know that he was in the car when it burned, but police, investigated and they found out that yes, there was a human being in that car before we saw the ash, and that human being was Darren Seals, 29. And the crazy thing to me is, uh, I'm his age, so it does hit a little. It hits home in more than one way, so it's a little tough dealing with that. But yeah, he was found dead at Diamond Drive on the block of I believe Diamond. I'm sorry, not the block, but he was found dead on Diamond Drive in Riverview, which is in St. Louis County, and is being investigated as a homicide. There's no suspects, no motive behind it, but that's what we know so far. So let me tell you a little bit about Darren Seals and who he was. Again, he was quote unquote, or he was the leader of quote unquote Black Lives Matter. Now, Black Lives Matter is more of it's more democratically, not democratically, but democratic establishment, George Soros type shit, obviously. But he was at the local level at Ferguson before people came to co-opt that, before the media came in, or the mainstream media, excuse me, because the media does have an important role, especially local media. But before the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and the Fox Newses got out there, he was out there doing work. He was doing work with a woman named, and excuse me if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, Nayoto Uhura, and they helped to organize polls over, excuse me, Hands Up United, which organized Polls Ova Police, which was using elections to make changes. And going back to Mr. Seals, he was a part of Bottom Boys music. He was a musician. He was trying to, bring some new style to the game. And he was also a hard worker. A lot of people obviously will say, there's people out there who are gonna say, black people are lazy. Of course, there's lazy people with every group. Maybe in America there are more lazy black people because of historical context, but that's a whole different conversation. But he was working, three shifts, according to him. He was working, an assembly line type of job. And he was also doing music on the side, and he was also finding the time to peacefully protest and use his First Amendment rights. Um, so let me tell you a little bit about also, his last quote unquote words online on Twitter, Facebook, things of that sort. I'm gonna put a link to this YouTube video, but I think that you guys, if anybody is really questioning what Black Lives Matter is about, you should really watch this video because these are people from the ground level. I myself know a lot of people from St. Louis, Ferguson, that area, St. Charles. I know a lot of people from Missouri, so I know people who were, directly dealing with this type of stuff. So you should definitely watch this YouTube video if you have any questions about Black Lives Matter and what it stands for, and really get a sense of what's happening right now. But some of the things that he said before he was killed were that he said that Black Lives Matter is being hijacked, um, not just by the Democratic establishment, the Hillary Clinton types, her cronies, the George Soroses, all those types, but feminists and people in the LGBT community and white liberals. This was supposed to be about, Michael Brown, which we can have a whole different conversation about hands up, don't shoot, Michael Brown, um, and if it was legitimate or not. But this movement was supposed to be about, for the most part, not even the movement, but in St. Louis and that area in Ferguson and the counties, it was supposed to be about black males and the things that black males are dealing with in this country. But again, it got hijacked by everybody else on the left to mean everything except black people. It was just a way, now it's turned into a way to keep black people in this perpetual state of impoverishment. But before I get too much on that, he also was saying that money wasn't coming in for the groups. Like, he doesn't know where the money's going. All these people who apparently came in and were supposed to care about St. Louis and Missouri and Ferguson, they didn't see where that money was going. Like, there's all these big major groups coming in, these nonprofit organizations, these liberal groups, but the money wasn't going back into the neighborhoods. And he was saying that a year later when he returned, the vibe was off. He was saying the whole Black Lives Matter vibe was off. And he also concluded by saying that, black people, we hijack each other, He was saying that a lot of this bullshit that we're seeing in Black Lives Matter was coming from other black people hijacking other black people. And it was very unfortunate. So in my conclusion, I do want to say that in this video, again, you should definitely watch this video, but this video talks about, if you look at the 24-minute mark in this video, Seals was a target. Mrs. Uhura was also a target, but Seals was a target. And she says, by other blacks and by women, by black women. Like, how crazy is that, man? By these people who talk about they care about black people and black lives, but yet the people who were there at the ground level are getting fucked over by other blacks. And whoever killed Mr. Seals definitely wanted the evidence to be buried. And there's like some eyewitness, street level witnesses who were saying that they saw, some shady type shit happen before he was killed. They saw, a black guy with dreads show up, and they also saw like a white dude in this kind of like hood ass area, which is not very normal, of course. And you got to look at the fact that a lot of people wanted this man silenced. So that's where I want to leave that. This is I didn't want to do a video on this, but whatever. It's very unfortunate, man. This is it's fucking shitty. People like this guy was actually doing like people were saying that he walked the walk. He said what he believed in and he walked it. And you don't see that a lot. And this is very unfortunate to see this guy who was actually in his community doing work and didn't get any of the credit that that DeRay and Nate are getting, some of the more popular people behind Black Lives Matter. This guy wasn't getting all that popularity, and he kind of died behind the scenes, and it's very unfortunate. He was there at the ground level trying to make some change, trying to do it the right way. Again, with Polls Ova Police, his group, they're trying to get people to go to the polls to vote for real change, not violence, but voting, using your power through the system peacefully. So I'm gonna leave that there, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.